We are anxious to reach a CAPS agreement. We met for 2 hours. Our hope is to make a deal before the day is over. We're going to reconvene at 4:15. I've been in a lot of these meetings over the years, and I don't want to be too forward-leaning in predicting an agreement, but it seems to me, without exception, everyone would like to. We are hopeful that we will get from the House of Representatives a supplemental on a bipartisan basis that's been agreed to. If that's the case, we'll be voting on that in the Senate before the week is out. But we'll be voting on something. I'd like to be voting on a bill that's going to become a law and get a signature. As I've said repeatedly, this is the longest time I can certainly remember between disasters occurring and actually assistance being passed. People in the South and the Midwest who've been adversely affected have every right to be running out of patience with us, and it's time to get this job done. Finally, I had a really good session with the President, just the two of us, about a week ago about the options available to us when it comes to government spending over the next 2 years. A negotiated agreement with the House Democrats is the best of three alternatives, the other two being arguing back and forth over the length of CR for God only knows how long, or a sequester, which hits defense with about a $71 billion cut at the end of the year. So the American people have given us divided government. This is not unusual. We've had divided government more often than not since World War II. We got to talk to each other. And I was encouraged by the beginning of the meeting today, and we're going to resume, as I said, at 4:15, and I'm hopeful and optimistic that the Secretary of the Treasury speaks for the President in these discussions.
Okay. Hey, folks. Well, look, we're working hard on it. It was a good, productive meeting. There are still some significant issues outstanding, particularly the domestic side spending issues, things like health care and infrastructure and things that average middle-class folks need. But we're having good discussions, and we're meeting again at 4:15. Trust but verify. We'll have to wait and see, and obviously we need the President to publicly sign off on whatever we agree to. But I think they realize, the Republican leadership and the White House, that when when President Trump shut down the government and our Republican friends went along with that, it didn't serve them very well. So I think that's what's pushing them to a serious negotiation. The Republicans finally, they were holding this up for a very long time because they didn't want to treat Puerto Rico fairly because President Trump didn't want them to. The Republican leadership got enough heat from its own members, particularly from farm states, that they ought to come to an agreement. So they've basically given us what we asked for all along on Puerto Rico. They then added a border security package. It has a lot of good things, some bad things, and that's the last thing that remains to be negotiated.